My friend's vegan wife had gone through my suitcase and dumped my food, but my friend told me that I am not owed an apology because I was disrespectful, so I am ending our friendship. In November of last year, I visited a friend, Kevin, and stayed at his and his wife's houses. My friend's wife Karen is not a vegan for health reasons. She is the type that brings up their vegan status with every conversation, no matter how irrelevant it is to the topic, makes fun of people who eat meat or use things made with animal byproducts, accuses people of murder, etc. She calls any food that is not vegan trash and garbage. Example, when we would hang out before they moved and she was there, she would always ask how people could eat such garbage whenever we had meat. It was annoying, but I never got confrontational with her about it. Well, Kevin is not a full-fledged vegan, as he eats fish. However, his wife does the grocery shopping, so everything outside of fish is vegan, and he eats/drinks it. He buys his fish and has a mini kitchen to prepare his meals away from hers. The day before I visited them, Karen sent a short list of food rules I had to follow. One rule was that I couldn't store non-vegan food items in either kitchen. I asked if I could bring milk, and she agreed, but I had to keep it in the fish fridge. All the food I ate at their house tasted off, even the breakfast waffles and the tuna casserole Kevin made for a Saturday afternoon for lunch. It's not like it tasted spoiled, it was just off. Weird. It's a little gross. I've never eaten vegan, so I figured it was food made with vegan ingredients. I couldn't eat anything after a few bites. I had, fortunately, packed a few protein snacks that I kept in my room inside a zippered canvas bag at the bottom of my suitcase. I ate some street food from the market that Kevin, our friends, and I went to Saturday after lunch, and I ate like a horse at the restaurant we went to that Saturday night, and I am not ashamed. My husband and I are supposed to visit them this weekend, and Karen called me a couple of hours ago. She wanted to tell me that I wouldn't be allowed to bring any milk this time. She also said that my husband and I also couldn't bring any snacks and that I should have asked last time. She had gone through my suitcase when Kevin, our friends, and I were out at the market and found my snacks. In addition to that, she also told me that she replaced my milk with almond milk and thought that was just hilarious. I drank milk Friday night before bed and one glass Saturday morning. Then, Kevin told me he used it to make our waffles and wanted to save the rest for the casserole at lunch. What happened was that after I poured my glass Saturday morning before breakfast, Karen dumped the rest of it out and replaced it with almond milk. Kevin knew it but didn't tell me. I never went to look for it because he said he wanted to save it. The waffles and casserole were made with almond milk. I was so mad that I knew I couldn't say anything nice. I told her I had another call coming in and hung up. After I calmed down, I called her back to ask why she had gone through my suitcase and why she dumped my milk. She told me it was her house and she had a right to know, so she could go through my things. She said she dumped my milk because nobody could tell the difference between cow's milk and almond milk and that I wouldn't have known if she hadn't told me. I called her a controlling, self-centered freak, told her that Kevin has a stash of real cheese hidden in the fish fridge that he sneaks into his food, and hung up on her. Then I called Kevin. He sided with her and told me that I pushed the line when I asked to bring milk and that it was insulting to order meat when we went to dinner. We argued, and I told him that our lives seemed to go in different directions and that we didn't need to be friends anymore. I probably should have asked if having non-vegan snacks in my room was okay, or I could have kept them in my car. I also shouldn't have called her names. I was a guest at their house, and Kevin has me half convinced that as a guest, I should have respected Karen's veganism and not had any non-vegan food at all. My husband thinks they're in the wrong and that since their lifestyle is not one the majority of the population follows, they should have made exceptions since Kevin gets a fish exception. He's also as pissed as I am that she went through my stuff, and he also pointed out that if I was allergic to almonds, I could have gotten very ill. He says I'm better off and thinks ending the friendship was reasonable. A few minutes ago, I got the "Hey, can we talk" text, and honestly, I don't know if I will respond. I'm just kind of done with it. Update, I wanted to clarify that Karen's bag in my suitcase contained emergency cash, a credit card, and snacks. It was hidden in my suitcase to keep it safe, not to hide food. I wasn't sneaking it in, but I did have protein bars in there just in case I had an issue with their food. Naughty me. I told Kevin yesterday I needed time to think and get back to him today. I contacted our friend group last night. After the group chat and talking with my friends that weekend, I learned some things. Long story short, out of our core group of 6, I'm the only one who kept up with Kevin. Those 2 friends accepted Kevin's invitation to go down that weekend because I was going. After I took the rest of the night to think about it and sleep on it, I realized that all of you were right about Kevin's complicity in switching the milk. I didn't pay as much attention as I should have because I was so focused on Karen switching the milk. I also realized he had never said anything in response to my telling him that Karen confessed to going through my stuff when I called him yesterday. He had changed the subject instead, talking about how it was rude to ask to bring milk. Anyway, I called Kevin on my lunch break today and ran down the list of issues: Karen going through my suitcase, him not telling me about the milk switch, Karen switching the milk to begin with after telling me I could bring it, and how what I eat is none of their business as long as I'm not contaminating their food. He told me he would only apologize for saying that it was rude to order non-vegan food at the restaurant. He said that since they had plenty of food in the house for me to eat, he didn't have to apologize for anything else. Karen had told him not to tell me about the milk switch because she was trying to prove that I couldn't tell the difference between vegan and non-vegan food. I told him that I could tell the difference since I didn't eat any of it except a few bites. He also said he would eventually tell me about it but forgot. I said that she could have just said no and I asked to bring milk instead of being a swampy butthole about it. He said that although he disagreed with Karen going through my things, I wasn't owed an apology because I broke the rules by sneaking meat into their house. I told him I had only been told I couldn't have non-vegan food in both kitchens and that it was left over from my drive to their house. I hadn't done anything wrong as long as I didn't switch it with their food like someone else. The last thing he told me was that I wasn't getting an apology from him because after I told Karen about his cheese stash yesterday afternoon, she unplugged his fish fridge. He didn't get home from work until late, and according to his Google search, all the refrigerated fish had to be thrown away. This is my fault. He said that we were even now. He didn't tell me about the milk switch, and I snitched about his cheese. I tried explaining that they weren't the same thing and that I wasn't responsible for what she did, but he didn't care and said he knew I wasn't allergic to nuts. I asked if he truly believed I didn't deserve any apologies from either of them, and he said yes. I told him that if he couldn't see what they did wrong and apologize, I couldn't help him and to give me a call when he got his balls back from his wife. He hung up on me.